Astrology Insights with Mel Rose here at Rose Tarot and Astrology. It is just now 10 o'clock, so I'm going to give everybody a minute or two to hop on, see who wants to get on here and watch as we go live with this coming week's astrology. So, this coming week's astrology is, I just want to say, not an easy week because it's going to be one of those weeks where we feel like a lot of motivation, a lot of push, a lot of desire to take action and to really get things done, or at least get things started. And then there's also a lot of messages coming from astrology that say it's time to pull back, it's time to conserve, it's time to contract a little bit. So it might feel a little bit stop and go this week. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get started and say, again, welcome. Happy Sunday, the 7th of December. It is already the end of the year here in 2025, believe it or not. And friends, Uranus and Pluto are perfecting a trine this month. That is the big news for this entire month, but especially also for this week as well. It is activating, this is Uranus activating Pluto, which is those long, slow changes that we all inevitably go through together, collectively, and on an individual basis as well. Uranus just brings change. It brings, with Pluto in Aquarius, which Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, this is bringing strong vibrations of social revolution, technological upgrades. We may see more progressive efforts at government and even corporate responsibility. We're going to be, we are still walking into new political realities. Okay, and this is something that's going to be with us for the next 5 years, and it begins to perfect right now. So that is an overall vibration that we need to be aware of. It is a trine, Uranus and Pluto, and they're going to be trine for the next 5 years, give or take, for the most part. And this just means like those long, slow changes, those bigger transformations that we're going through. Sometimes they're going to look as though something happens really quickly that advances us so much more than we thought that we could be advanced. Okay, there are going to be a lot of quick changes that come along over the next 5 years as well. And I'm really happy that Pluto is in Aquarius for this, because those are quick changes, sort of in the way that hopefully we approach our systems of governance and our systems of support that allow us to make the good stuff available for all of us. Okay, so these two trine, they favor innovative implementation and spreading new ideas. We're sort of bringing in a second industrial revolution, or where we're definitely going through a revolution in the way people are working. And those first exact alignments are happening now. So I just want to give you the heads up on that. This week, Neptune is going to go direct. Saturn and Uranus have already gone direct. Mercury is direct. Jupiter is retrograde in Cancer. So that's sort of the breakdown of who's direct and retrograde right now. But Neptune is slowing down this week to turn direct. So that's going to slow us down a little bit in terms of what and how we idealize things, and our imagination, perhaps even our sense of having faith. We're going to have to sort of think through those things a little bit more this week. Grand trine in water, still over our heads. Okay, it begins to fade toward the middle of the month, so this is going to be probably our last full week of that grand trine in water signs. We have had 5 or 6 different planets moving along and activating this grand trine between Jupiter and Cancer, and between Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So between Jupiter and Saturn Neptune's conjunction, and then it was like Mars, and then Mercury, and then Venus, and now the Sun. Okay, so we have this, and so we have this grand trine that is still being activated this week. It really has felt For me, hopefully for a lot of you, especially if you have water strong charts, it's really felt a lot more emotionally secure to have this grand trine in water signs over my head. Um, I really have felt like I'm enough to tackle any sort of project. I have a strong sense of hope and capability. And so I really hope that I hope that that's the way it has been treating you. I hope that you have been having that experience as well. Have confidence in your instincts. Have confidence in what your heart is telling you right now. But remember not to over pledge yourself at this time. Okay, the coming weeks are really busy for us all astrologically, and just in terms of the fact that we're in the end of the year and there's a lot of holiday and celebrating and hustle and bustle that we are going about doing right now. So, you know, we have schedules pretty packed full. Let's try not to overpromise what we can do and how we can show up for other people at this time, okay? Because we really are. It's Sagittarius. It's a very social vibe. The sun is in Sagittarius. We are getting out there and being in contact with people, and making sure that people have what they need. Trying to spread a little bit of light and good cheer in this the time of year where we have the longest nights. So I just want to remind you not to, like we do have those plans. Keep those plans, but just don't overpromise yourself. Uh, Not entirely easy this week. I know that I already said that, so I'm gonna bring it back to that. This week, the song that came to my mind when I was thinking about this was "I Can't Drive 55." Okay, so it's it's a sense of frustration. It's like having one foot on the brake and one on the gas, right? You want to go faster than you are going. At times this week, and then there will be times when you feel extremely bored, uh, or like you're being stopped in your tracks. So, what I want to say is do what you can and don't stress the rest, okay? If you feel like you've got one foot on the brake and one on the gas, maybe pull that foot off the gas for a couple of minutes and just take a couple of breaths, all right? Breathe through those moments of boredom, breathe through those moments of frustration. You will make the progress that you want to make. This time of astrology, is sort of preceding a time when we are actually going to be making a lot of progress. So, coming up in February and March and April of next year, we're going to see ourselves, personally and collectively making a lot more progress. Right now is not the time to be showing that much progress. Okay, so, we're tying up loose ends, we're letting things go, right? It's the end of the year. We're also stopping to pause and rest and celebrate and connect with people. That is what we're doing right now. Allow yourself to be a little bit bored through these holiday parties and stuff. Allow yourself to kick back and relax. That's the whole idea, because when we get past this time of reflection and tying up loose ends, then we're really going to be moving forward, especially, like I said, in February and March. We're really going to be making some big starts and some big changes in our lives. So take this time to relax and reflect, and enjoy the opportunity to celebrate however it is that you celebrate this time of year. Today is Sunday, the 7th. We have a waning gibbous moon in Cancer. That is a moon that gives us a vibration in our bodies and our hearts, like we want to nurture and protect ourselves, our home spaces, and those people and things that we keep close. And today, Mars in Sagittarius is having an adjustment energy. It's called a quincunx to Jupiter in Cancer. So that's not a very comfortable energy. Mars is that part of us that wants to make progress and go forward and get the thing done. And Mars in Sagittarius definitely wants to make that progress. Okay, we've got our target and our sights. We want to get as far as we can. And so, in this adjustment energy with Jupiter in Cancer, that it's like it's not in doubt that you care about what it is that you're trying to act on, but how much energy is too much energy to give to this thing that you care about, right? It's easy to go off the deep end. It's easy to give too much effort when you have that target in your sights and you think, I can do this, I can do this. Okay, that Jupiter in Cancer gives us high expectations of ourselves and others, and we just want to keep those expects in check as Kelvin on the gemstones would say, okay? Keep your expectations in check so that you don't pledge too much of yourself or wind up asking too much of other people at this time, okay? Mercury trine Saturn also today. This is us getting serious and trying to pull in our energy. We want to contract. We want to be conservative. So on the one hand, we're feeling this adjustment in our desire to act. That's saying, you know, I want to give a lot. It says I want to give a lot. I want to put a lot of effort in. And then Mercury trine Saturn is over here saying, yeah, you'll have an easier time and you'll probably get more done if you pull back a little bit today, if you contract, if you conserve your energy a little bit today, and maybe put more energy into planning than into actually trying to take action. And today, 9 p.m. this evening, where I am, the moon goes into Leo. That has our energy moving outward again. It's another more active, fiery energy. So just observe today as we go into the week that there is this push and pull of energy that has us sometimes feeling like we need to hurry up, and other times feeling like we can't make enough progress in the moment, okay? And just try to relax into that, because it's going to be a little bit of a stop and go traffic for the week. Monday, tomorrow, is the 8th, and that is the waning gibbous moon in Leo. When the moon is waning gibbous, this is just a time where we're looking back on the past month and the things that we have managed to put together, to achieve, and also reflecting on what hasn't worked for us, because after we have the waning gibbous moon, we'll get to that waning crescent moon where we actually start to push things, stuff, ideas out of our life that no longer work for us. Okay, so right now we're just reflecting on that and starting to notice like what does work and doesn't work. And in Leo, with the moon in Leo, that is a time when we really want to give. It's really giving, okay? It's giving generosity, especially with the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Leo. We want to be generous, and really we have this feeling like we want to be generous without concern for what we may lose. So there again is that desire to give, perhaps more than it is that we have to give, or that desire to commit more than we have to commit, right? Coming up against that desire to slow down or back up, because with that happening on Monday, you have Venus and Eris and Jupiter in this power struggle where we want to do more than we can. It's like we're up against a big wall. I don't know if you're watching Stranger Things like Jennifer and I are, but there is literally a big wall that we're running up against in that fictional TV show. Also, Mars square Saturn happens tomorrow and Monday, and that advises us conservative action. Okay, Mars is hot, Saturn is cold. It's like we want to speed up, but we want to slow down, one foot on the brake, one foot on the gas. It's exactly like that on Monday. And then Neptune is stationing to go direct. It starts stationing on Monday and it goes direct on Wednesday. So we're slowing down, like I said, in terms of our idealization, in terms of our imaginations. Things might get a little cloudy for us intuitively at the beginning of this week too, and that's going to add to that sense of frustration with the stop and go. Tuesday the 19th, waning gibbous moon in Leo all day. We still have that impulse to give and give, that generosity coming from the heart without concern for what we may lose. And that's really an appropriate way to feel this time of year. It is a good season to be reaching out and making contact and just making sure we spread a little light and warmth to those around us. You never know what people are struggling with. Wednesday the 10th, did I say that Tuesday was the 19th? It's the 9th. Wednesday the 10th, we have a waning gibbous moon moving into Virgo at 1 a.m. It's early in the morning on Wednesday. And so that heart feeling goes from being super generous to more analytical. We want to be exact. We want to ask questions. We want to get the minutia of things in order. Okay, we want effectiveness and efficiency. And on that day, on Wednesday the 10th, also Mercury is going to strike an opposition to Uranus. This is familiar ground that we've been on before because Mercury is still in its post-retrograde shadow. We have this chance for a bit of a breakthrough in our thinking, a breakthrough in our planning or our collaborations. We have this chance for, sort of lightning to strike, an aha moment. So I really advise you to be sharing with your best collaborators, your co-creators, sharing those ideas that you have, sharing those things that you're trying to bring into the light, those ideas you're trying to play with, to see what you can make of them, right? With the people around you, so that bouncing it off of other people can sometimes help create an even bigger, better idea, right? It can really help us get our ideas off the ground when we can do that. And with the moon in Virgo, Mercury, and then Mercury opposing Uranus, Mercury rules Virgo. Okay, so it is such a good day for communicating, especially the particulars of something that you're trying to get done. Thursday, on the 11th, we have that waning half moon in Virgo. So then it's halfway from the full moon to the new moon. That half moon in Virgo, again, wants us to be very particular and meticulous, because now we're going from reflecting on what does and doesn't work to actually trying to get rid of the things that don't work. And especially in Virgo, it's going to be stuff and things, particulate matter, that we want to push out of our environment. We want to start sort of clearing the slate for the next creative phase, which comes up with the next new moon next week. Also on Thursday the 11th, Mercury is going to trine Neptune. This is another part of that chance for a breakthrough that we got with Mercury opposing Uranus the day before. It's like we have this chance for a breakthrough, but we have to keep our imaginations, we have to keep our imaginations going, but we also have to be realistic about what our imaginations are telling us, right? So it's easy on a day where Mercury is trining Neptune to tell a lie, or to deceive yourself or someone else, or to be deceived by the way something is spoken to you, or by the way something appears or occurs to you. Okay, watch out. Watch out for self-deception. Watch out for, other people saying things that are untrue, whether they're intentionally lying or not. Do your best to tell the truth, especially around Thursday, but all the time. Mercury goes into Sagittarius after that trine with Neptune. It's going to trine Neptune and then move on into the next sign. So it's not a very long period of time where Mercury is trining Neptune and we have that real danger of deceiving ourselves, but like I really see something coming up Thursday the 11th, kind of early in the day. And then Mercury moves into Sagittarius that afternoon, activating that Jupiter in Cancer, which is part of the grand trine in water, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Watch out for your high ideals and your overconfident speaking and your overconfident planning. Again, we don't want to pledge more than we can give. We don't want to write checks that we can't really cash. And then on Friday the 12th, that waning half moon moves into Libra in the morning. We chill out, or we are driven to find a balance. We can feel. I love when the moon is in Libra, because it's like I can feel what I can feel into my relationships with others, and I can see where things are out of balance, and I can see where I need to give more, right, or take less, or somewhere along those lines. So that's Friday the 12th. The moon moves into Leo. It is a good time to just try to check in on your relationships, especially those people you keep close. But with Libra, those are all of your partners. That's your work partners, your social partners, your civic partners, and your home partners. Just remember, steady as we go. We want to keep that. We want to not rock the boat too much as we're heading into Friday and Saturday. And then on Saturday, with that waning crescent moon in Libra, remember, waning crescent moon means we're pushing out old stuff and things. And then in Libra, it's like thoughts, attitudes, ideas that no longer serve us, that no longer work for us. Saturday the 13th, Mars has an adjustment to Uranus. And this feels a little bit like things can fall apart. Things can get a little bit shaky. Things can start to tumble. Something disruptive may happen coming up on next Saturday. Something that we want to be aware, we want to be on our toes, we want to be ready to manage the fallout from something that happens, maybe not necessarily in our personal lives, but possibly, and definitely we'll see some stuff happening around Saturday and Sunday in the world that's going to remind us that things do fall apart, and that sometimes it feels a little bit disastrous, and we just have to be ready to respond. Mercury also is going to sextile Pluto that day. So the things that we say, the way we express ourselves on Saturday, the 13th, has more power, okay? And it might also have more volatility. We might feel like we're yelling a little bit, or like, we're saying things in such a tone of voice that people really need to hear it. It has a little more efficacy as well, okay? There's more power behind what we're saying on Saturday. So please try to speak the truth and do it in a way that you think you'll be heard. And then today is Sunday the 7th. Next Sunday is the 14th. That's the waning crescent moon in Leo. Flow and blockage that day, okay? Learn what you can from it. It's still that foot on the brake, foot on the gas, frustrating, speed up and slow down, hurry up and wait kind of energy throughout the week. Mars squares Neptune that day and then moves on into Capricorn. This is a solid reminder to remember what grounds you throughout this whole week. Always come back to what makes you feel solid, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel as though you can handle the next set of circumstances that come your way. And when you feel as though you are not grounded, as though you're not centered, as though you're spiraling out, as though you are perhaps in too much of a hurry or feeling too frustrated from not being able to make the progress that you want, come back to what grounds you. Come back to what makes you feel steady and safe, okay? All right, that is the week ahead in astrology, friends. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for checking in on your regular current astrology. As you know, as above, so below, we look to the way the planets move across the backdrop of the stars to give us some sort of idea as to what kind of energies might be playing out here on Earth for us. We've been doing that for about 1,000,000 years as human beings. And so it's one of the oldest ways of sort of reckoning what's coming up for us. And, hopefully with the information that we gain from astrology, we are able to navigate our own lives with more sense of peace and success and prosperity. That's definitely why I use it. And I'm so happy that you're here with me on this journey. The second half of this broadcast is a tarot card reading. I'm going to pull 2 tarot cards to represent the coming week. Okay, so what are the 2 things that I think are really coming up this week that we need to be aware of, right? One of the things that's coming up this week is this. Okay, I know what it is. It's the stop and go, all right? There are messages that we're getting from Saturn, from Mars, from Mercury that are saying, whoa, slow down, be conservative, stop. And then we're still getting messages from Jupiter and Venus and the Sun that are saying, no, go, let it flow, right? So there are certain things that are bound to happen pretty easily at this time. And one of those things, like I said, is over pledging ourselves or overdoing it in some way. So I'm going to say one card for, how do we manage the need to make progress, and one card for how do we manage the need to slow down and take our time, right? Okay. So first is going to be, how do we manage the need to make progress when we are getting stopped? It just takes balance. It takes constant engagement. Actually, that's what this card always reminds me of. It says, Pentacles is about your resources, your physical resources, and that starts with your body. It starts with your health, and then, it moves out into the world, into the stuff that you own, that you rely on to get you through the day, and the money that you work for to support you in your life. This is always a balancing act. And remember that because it's always a balancing act, it's something you have to stay engaged in, okay? You don't really get to take a break from from paying attention to what needs to stop and what needs to go. You don't really get to take a break from trying pardon me, from trying to manage your resources, your health, your body, and your financial resources. Okay, so stay engaged. Keep your eyes on what it is that you're trying to manage here. All right. While we are trying to make progress, remember that it's not all about progress. It's also about managing what you have while you make progress. All right, there it is. That's the message. Manage what you still need to manage while you work on making progress. Okay, so understand that like the dishes aren't going away. The laundry isn't going away. The chores, the stuff that you have to keep up with, you still have to keep up with it, okay? So keeping up with it, even if that slows you down in the progress you want to make on something right now, because the vibration is very stop and go anyway, all right? And then the next question is like, how do I manage those moments of extreme boredom and frustration when it is that I want to go and get something done, right? I'm just bored. I'm stopped. I can't move forward. There's too much traffic. I can't pass. The Four of Pentacles. Okay, so this is a Pentacles-rich reading, friends. And the Four of Pentacles says, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind, right? So the Four of Pentacles is really about conserving your resources, holding down your good health, having a very conservative, regular habit about taking care of yourself and the nice things that you like to have, okay? And this says you don't ever really get to stop being engaged in it. So be engaged in it. There's a little bit of a push and pull right here, right? This is like a stop, and this is a no, you got to keep going. So I think that really wraps up the vibe for the week, right? You have to stay engaged, but you're going to move a little bit more slowly, all right? You have to keep working on these matters of health and resources, but you cannot allow yourself to stagnate either. And that's really just going to be the vibration for this week, friends. Sorry to say, but it does happen, as Nadia would say. So yeah, conservative though is the vibration for the week, and there are two modes of conservation here present in this reading as well. There's the conservation where we just hold on to the stuff that we have, where we attend it very closely, and there's also the kind of conservation where we are paying attention to what is happening with those resources, and we don't ever stop being engaged in what is happening in those resources. Think of conservation like if you were doing forest conservation, right? Part of forest conservation is letting the forest grow, and then the other part of forest conservation is being there with the forest to see when action needs to be taken and taking action when it needs to be taken to conserve the forest environment. Okay, friends, I believe that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Astro Insights today. I am your host, Mel Rose. Jennifer has been in the comments talking with you all and giving people updates as to what's going on with the astrology as well. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Jennifer. And I think we're all done here for today. Join me here next Sunday at 10 a.m. and we will go over the next week in astrology, which, by the way, has the new moon and the winter solstice coming up, not this coming week, but the next week. All right, friends, catch you in the next one.